Hey everyone, hope you're enjoying your Monday so far. I'm on lunch break here in western Wyoming, a Little America truck stop. I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about how I got where I am from high school and why I think most people are misled to go the way they go. Just like everyone else, when I was in high school, most of my teachers told me that if I didn't go to college, I would be a loser, I wouldn't make any money, I'd hate my life, and I'd never retire, I'd never have any time off, and I'd be miserable. And that's what they tell everybody. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do when I was still in high school, and I really had no idea because I didn't like anything I was doing in high school except for shop class and a little bit in English class. So I thought about going into construction engineering. I thought about being a police officer, believe it or not. I thought about joining the Army. I actually talked to recruiters. I talked to the Marines. I think I talked with the Air Force too. I talked with a lot of different people. And I finally decided, no, I'm going to go into criminal justice reform, and I'm going to be a police officer and then try to become a park ranger. So I got scholarships and everything, and I got accepted to New Hampshire Technical Institute. And 2 weeks before I was supposed to go, I decided, you know what, I really don't want to go. I really don't want to go to school. I've had enough of high school. I really don't want to go back to college. I wish I could say there were a deeper reason why I decided not to go, but that was really what it was. So I talked to my parents about it, and they said, well, yeah, we're not going to force you to go, but if you are not going to go to college, you're going to have to pay rent to live in the house until you move out. And I said, okay. So I was working at a lumber yard at that point, just as like a customer assistance employee, and it wasn't the greatest job in the world. I was just restacking lumber in the yard and helping people find whatever they needed, making $8 an hour. And my uncle owned a power line contractor business. He worked for the utility companies around New Hampshire. So I gave him a call and I said, hey, I'm interested in trying that out. How much, what do I need to do? And he said, well, you'll start out at the bottom just like everybody else. You need to get your Class A CDL so that you can drive the vehicles here. And then, we'll start you out and start getting you trained, start teaching you how to do everything. So if you can get your CDL while you're still at the lumber yard, that would be great. So I talked to my boss at the lumber yard and said, hey, if I could get my CDL while I'm here, that would be amazing. And he said, sure. So he let me drive the trucks around the yard after work. I got the CDL manual, read the whole thing, and I was just practicing shifting the trucks, parking them. And then whenever someone who was at work had extra time, they'd take me out on the road. That's how I got my CDL. Got my Class B license first, and then my Class A license. And that was something that I had no idea I would like, the CDL aspect, but I absolutely loved it. I had never done anything for work that got me as excited as driving a big truck. And then after a while, work opened up at my uncle's place, so I went and worked for him, and they started me out at a lot more money than what I was making at the lumber yard. The problem is I really didn't enjoy line work, power line work. I just thought it was boring and super tedious, slow paced, and I just wasn't enjoying it. So I actually decided to get more into the heavy equipment operation of things. So I was setting poles a lot. I was setting up to like 80-foot poles, wood poles, steel poles, substation towers, whatever. And I got pretty good in an excavator, got pretty good with the tractor trailer moving heavy equipment around, and I like doing that. But I was setting poles like 90% of the time, and that got old pretty fast. And I realized, I was only 19 when I started there, and around the time I turned 20, I was thinking, I want to see the world, and I might never see it. I might work the rest of my life, I might never have time again. So I saved up a bunch of money, and I took 2 years off roughly, and I traveled to all 50 states in my Toyota pickup truck. And that was great. And inside that time, I worked in Tucson, Arizona for about 4 months, totally on a voluntary basis. I wasn't expected to show up any day. But I did volunteer work, repairing homes, doing plumbing, carpentry, random things like that. And then there was a little bit of lucrative work I was doing installing toilets. You got $85 for every toilet you installed in Tucson because it was they were low flow toilets, so they used less water. And then I worked for 6 months with a bunch of Mexicans roofing in Denver, Colorado, and so I got to brush up on my Spanish and learned how to do commercial roofing, which is definitely something I realized I don't want to do for a living. And then I went back to my uncle's company in New Hampshire, and I was making really great money, but I just wasn't enjoying what I was doing. It was kind of just the same old monotonous pole setting all around the state. We never really got out of New Hampshire unless there was a storm. So then I decided, this probably isn't what I want to do my whole life. And what do I like to do? I like to drive trucks, I like to travel, and I like operating heavy equipment. And there is a job that fits all three of those, all three of those requirements that I would be able to do. So I started looking around and found several different companies out west, and I ended up with this one here in Utah, or the one I work for in Utah. I'm in Wyoming right now, but that's a very natural way to figure out what I wanted to do. I got paid to figure out what I wanted to do. I was able to hone my skills. I'm 26 now, so it's been 8 years, and now I feel pretty comfortable that this is what I want to do for a while. Maybe not my entire life, but I like what I'm doing, and I'm good at it, and it pays well. And those are the three things you want. You want to have a job that you like, that you're good at, and pays you well. And it enables me to do the other things I like. I'm going to be taking time off this coming weekend to go back to New Hampshire. I like my boss. He's a decent guy. The other guys I work with are decent. And if things didn't work out, I could just leave. And my boss and I, when we were working out the agreement for how I get hired, he said, well, if you don't like it after 3 months, I won't hold it against you if you leave. And same way with him. Like, if he doesn't like the way I was working out, he could just fire my ass and send me down the road. That's the way it's supposed to be. I don't really care what anyone thinks about that. That's how jobs should work. You shouldn't feel obligated to hire someone, just like you shouldn't feel obligated to stay. That's the way you should try to figure out what you want to do for a living. If you think you already know when you're 18 years old and you've only been in high school, and you're going to drop tens of thousands of dollars on a degree that you have no idea whether or not you'll like it, whether or not you'll be good at it, and you're not even sure you'll get a job that pays well. And high school graduates in this country have been duped into going to college, and then they end up in massive debt, and they end up getting some other unrelated job that pays 30-40 grand a year, and they're trying to pay off $70,000 of debt. And now we have people telling us that the way to fix this is subsidize college and for the taxpayers to pay off all those student loans. That's ridiculous. I mean, what we need to do is we need to stop telling everyone that they need to go to college, because they don't. I make plenty of money, and I have a high school diploma, and I have friends who were in my class in high school who went to college and got tens of thousands of dollars in debt, and they don't even make half what I do in a year. And and they hate their jobs, but they can't go anywhere or do anything because they're tied down to their student loans. So we need to stop telling every kid in high school that he needs to go to college. The other thing we need to do is stop subsidizing student loans, because even though that's sold as though it's helping the student, it's not helping the student, it's helping the colleges, because they can jack the prices up as high as they want and the government guarantees the loan, so there's no risk. If a student had to go to a bank to get a loan to go to college, the bank would have to assess the risk and say, okay, this kid's going for underwater basket weaving. He has a 2% chance of getting a job, and even if he gets a job, it's going to take him 50 years to pay us back. Are we going to subsidize this, or are we going to approve this loan? No, we're not. So you'd have fewer people eligible to go to college. The colleges would have to drop their prices, and things would be like they were 40 years ago again. And a lot of jobs that require college now, they shouldn't require college. See, this is the problem with over-regulation, mandatory, licensing for jobs that really don't need that don't need special training or don't need special licensing. We should have more on-the-job training. We should have fewer requirements for people that already have degrees in order to get hired. The solution isn't throwing more money at the problem and subsidizing it. The solution is overhauling the system and having it make sense. But I'm drawing near the end of my lunch break here. I just wanted to talk about that a little bit, because I've been seeing so much about people wanting college loans subsidized and student debt evaporated by the federal government. The government has no money. Just remember that. If you want something to be paid for, you are asking either for higher taxation, borrowing, or more money printing, and all three of those things affect the value of the dollar, or the value of your paycheck. So just realize that's what you're asking for. But anyway, I gotta go. I will catch you guys on the next live stream. I did a video with Rocky for President on Twitter last night. I'll have it uploaded tonight. Check it out when it comes out. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves. I'll catch you next time.